This is my Oculus Rift CV1, and in today's video I'm going to tell you 4 reasons exactly why I ditched virtual reality and went back to a triple monitor setup. So reason number 1 that I went back to triple monitors after using virtual reality so long was the quality of immersion. So I won't go to even begin to argue that you get much more immersion using a virtual reality headset. That sense of depth and being in that vehicle, you cannot get that quite the same as you can in a virtual reality headset. You just won't get that on monitors. However, I got to thinking about, was that aspect of immersion worth the quality loss? So there's a line there, a quality of immersion line, where I had to make a decision. Did I want that fidelity that the monitors can give me, those small particle details, the high quality rendering off in the distance that a virtual reality headset cannot get you? And even with the best, latest release virtual reality headsets, they just do not have anywhere near the fidelity of an image that can be produced even on a large 32-inch 1080p monitor setup like I have. I'm not even running 1440p or 4K. I'm just 32-inch 1080p times 3. And the fidelity and the visual quality that you get is way beyond anything that this generation or last generation, and even several generations to come, I'm sure, in a virtual reality headset just cannot give you the fidelity that you can get off a set of monitors. Reason number 2 is going to be simply the comfort of virtual reality. It is just not comfortable. Yes, going in and doing some hot lapping and things like that is fine. I do enjoy doing some fast laps around the Nürburgring, 7 minutes, 10 minutes, 15, even up to 30 minutes is fine. But if you want to do any long distance racing, or at least if I want to do any long distance racing, after about 45 minutes or an hour of having the VR headset on my head, it just becomes very uncomfortable to me. It's hot, the screens fog up, you have to have some kind of air coming through the room to keep everything from getting foggy and from getting sweaty. And you just simply have this heavy box on your head, which they're not heavy to begin with, but after hours of use, they become very heavy and they just feel like a drag to have on. Reason number 3 that I went back to using triple monitors was not being aware of my surroundings. Now, there's been a joke ever since virtual reality made its way on the market several years ago. There's been 2 jokes really. One is that if your house were to burn down and you had the virtual reality headset on and your headphones on, you wouldn't know it until it was too late. Now, that's been a running joke, but it is somewhat true. The other joke that I make with my wife is that if she ever gets mad at me and I've got virtual reality on my head, I will not know if she's going to walk up behind me and hit me on the head with something like a frying pan. Now, those are obviously jokes, and we hope that that would not happen, but it is true that you do not have a sense of awareness. You are put so far into the environment that is being placed or being shown in that headset, along with the audio that you're hearing, that you're pulled completely out of reality. You're pulled completely out of the room, out of the place that you are actually sim racing in, and you have no awareness of what is going on. And where that frustrates me the most is I have money spent on button boxes, gauge clusters, various things that I use that, yes, in my mind, muscle memory will engage and help me find what I'm looking for. But I've paid this money for that stuff, and I want to be able to visually see it as well. And where we are currently with virtual reality and mixed reality especially, there's just no way of seeing those gadgets that you have in front of you, and it takes me out of that element, of that portion of where I want to be. And so that being said, reason number 3, I'm moving back to multiple monitors is because I am so far out of my element and I prefer being in my actual environment instead of being inside the virtual reality element. And the last reason number 4 is going to be a slow development process. Virtual reality, I got my Oculus Rift about 2 years ago or so, pretty much when it came out on the market. And since then, we have not really had that much movement or a tremendous amount of visual fidelity increase, comfort increase. It's ever so slightly become better, but even with the Odyssey Plus, the Pimax Pro, 5K, 8K, even with those headsets, they're not that much better from the initial consumer versions that came out a couple years ago. And why that frustrates me so much is because at the end of the day, the virtual reality headsets, they are technology-based items, and everything else in the technology world moves so quickly. Monitors get better within months. Your graphics cards are outdated within a year. Things move very quickly, technology gets better and better, but for some reason, virtual reality seems to be just being left in the dust. Whether that's not enough money being funded to virtual reality, developers not wanting to get in on it because they're scared it's not going to be, it's just going to die off at some point. That's a talk that a lot of people discuss. Whatever the reason, the development is just very, very slow on virtual reality. So while you can get a virtual reality headset much cheaper and you can get into virtual reality a lot cheaper than you could to begin with, the technology hasn't gone with that amount of money that you spend. So basically, yes, you can get a virtual reality headset for much cheaper, but it's the same equipment for the most part that you could get 2 years ago. Whereas if you take something like monitors, if you were to spend the same amount of money on monitors today that you purchased 6 months ago or a year ago, you would be getting a lot better piece of equipment, much better visual fidelity, and it would just be an overall better experience. And because of that, the virtual reality idea in general has just moved very, very slowly, and it just has not advanced, is what I'm saying, I suppose, is just the advancement of the technology in virtual reality has just not gotten very far, and I'm afraid it's going to continue that very slow path. And for me, it's just being left in the dust because I can purchase 32-inch large monitors, 1080p, that look great, and they give me the sense of being in the car because they're so large, as well as giving me that very, very fine fidelity of image quality where virtual reality cannot. So that is going to be the 4 reasons I switched. And then I want to talk about, before we get going here, one argument that a lot of people have for virtual reality. And I just want to give my take on that. A lot of people say that if you're running triple monitors, the 2 outside monitors are kind of a waste because you're not really using them, but you are utilizing all this graphical power. Well, here's the thing. For me, I don't look at those outside monitors that often, so in that case, that is true. But what I do get is that extra vision off to the sides that even though I'm not looking at it directly, I can see what is going on. I can tell if a car is coming up beside me on the right. I can tell if a car is coming up beside me on the left. I can see off of my peripheral visions and calculate my apexes farther off in advance than I can with a single monitor and virtual reality, just because the field of view is so small. So in virtual reality, to get to that peripheral vision, you have to physically turn your head and look that direction because the field of view is so small. Even in the newer Pimaxes with a wide field of view, you're still limited. That field of view is still very limited, and you don't get much of that vision off to the sides. Where in triple monitors, I have what's in front of me crystal clear, and I also get that visual effect off to the side where I can calculate what's coming up in the next couple of turns. I can see those, and you just get more information, and it's there off to the side. So I don't think it's a waste to have those extra 2 monitors. I think it's actually really, really, really great, and it helps out a lot. And I think it does make you faster. Where in virtual reality, you have to physically, like I said, turn your head to see that peripheral vision. Now, hopefully at some point in time, guys, virtual reality will get better, and you will get more of that peripheral vision, and the image will be crystal clear like it is on a monitor. And at that time, I may move myself over to virtual reality using that again. But again, it would have to be much more comfortable, and it would have to really address all 4 of these issues that I've discussed in this video to make me go back full-time virtual reality and never use my monitors again. So guys, that is why I've had people ask me why I went back to triple monitors when I had virtual reality here in the studio, and that is the answer. So I hope that that has let you know what the deal was with that. So guys, as always, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you tuning into these videos. If you like what you saw, remember to click that subscribe button so you can tune in for more videos that we have coming in the future. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll talk to you in the next video. We'll see you later.